Hello humans, what's up? This is Ergo the Lowly Human. So we made Mythic this season. That means it's time for another deck tech video. So what deck did we go with? Well, we went back to tribal. So we went with Vamps, particularly Vampiristas. So let me show you the deck. Here it is. Alright, so Vampiristas. So what new additions did this deck get from M20, which made it competitive this season? So let's see. Alright, so here we go. Knight of the Ebon Legion. I would say this is likely the most impactful new addition from M20. This card is so good. In the early game, it's only 1 to cast. So it's 1 to cast 1/2 and has an ability to coalesce 1 black. Knight of the Ebon Legion gets +3/+3 and gains Death Touch until end of turn. So that makes blocking very awkward for opponents. And then a beginning free Ancept. If a player lost 4 or more life this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Knight of the Ebon Legion. So if the opponent, usually the opponent will have to take it early game since you can pump it. And when you do pump it, they'll take 4 and it will get a counter at the end of your turn. And then can spiral out of hand, can just get bigger and bigger until aggro decks or burn decks won't be able to have an answer for it. Oh, even in the late game, since that's the time when you have a lot of mana, so you can just pump him into oblivion over any stomping creatures. And he will be trading up most of the time since he does get Death Touch. So he gets +3/+3 and gains Death Touch. So that's Knight of the Ebon Legion. So next up we have Zorin, Imperious Bloodlord, or the granddaddy vampire himself. So basically this deck does revolve around Zorin. Fittingly, since he is the vampire lord or the vampire walker. Alright, so he is a cheap planeswalker, 3 to cast, 2 colorless, and 1 black. So his +1, target creature gets Death Touch and lifelink until end of turn. If it's a vampire, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Well, all of our creatures are vampires, so they will always get a counter on it. Then +1, you may sacrifice a vampire. When you do, Zorin Imperious Bloodlord deals 3 damage to any target, and you gain 3 life. So it's a Helix ability, but you just have to sacrifice a vampire. So of note, we have a vampire here that we want to sack with Zorin. That's the Outsworn Vampire. So he's a 1 colorless, 1 black, 2 to cast. 2/2/2 vampire comes into the battlefield tap. So not particularly good, but he does have an ability. You may cast Outsworn Vampire from your graveyard if you gain life this turn. So it works very well with Zorin's +1, since when you sack the Outsworn Vampire from Zorin or with Zorin, you will gain 3 life. Then you can cast him again right after. And then rinse and repeat the next couple of turns until the opponent is dead. Or the opponent just concedes. But there is still one ability from Zorin. That's a -3. So -3, you may put a vampire creature card from your hand into the battlefield. Boom! So it suddenly becomes a rap deck with Zorin. Since you can put any vampire creature card, doesn't matter what his casting cost is, just bam, put it into play. So we want to put some high casting cost vampires here to make full use of Zorin's -3 ability. So we put in Champion of the Dusk. So this is a 5 to cast, 3 colorless, 2 black. So you draw a card for each vampire you control when it enters the battlefield, and you lose X life. So it helps you gain more gas. So since an inherent problem of most aggressive decks is they run out of gas fast. So they put down all of their creatures as soon as they can. They're all cheap, and then when an opponent deals with them, you're out of gas, then usually there's no hope. But Champion of the Dust enables you to draw a ton of cards and make sure you can keep the gas flowing. Alright, next up we have the Haunt of Hightower, or Count Dracula as I like to call him. So he's a 6 to cast, 4 colorless, 2 black, legendary creature, 3/3 flying lifelink. Whenever the Haunt of Hightower attacks, defending player discards a card. Whenever cards put an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, put a +1/+1 counter on the Haunt of Hightower. Yeah. So he has a lot of abilities. 3/3 flying lifelink. He has evasion. He has lifelink, so it's good. Also good against aggro decks, and also good against control decks since whenever he attacks, a defending player discards a card, and then whenever that card is put into a card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, it gets bigger and bigger. So it's a self combo since whenever attack, the opponent will discard and it'll pop itself into oblivion until it's too big and the opponent can't do anything about it. Well, that's a dream. So yeah, there are a few things better than a turn 3 sword into Haunt of Hightower. So that's 9 mana total since sword is 3 to cast, and then Haunt of Hightower is 6 to cast for just 3 mana. So you got a 6 mana discount. Alright, so that's it for the main board. Other cards here is your standard Vampire aggro package, Legion's Landing, Sky Marcher, Dante Vanguard. Well, it works well with the Knight of the Ebon Legion since turn 2 you cast this, you can just pay for it if you want, so you can pump the Knight of the Ebon Legion that you casted on turn 1. So end of your turn, Ebon Legion will be 2/3. Then we have Dust Legion. We have the Anthem effect, the Legion Lieutenant, some removals. We have Sorin Vengeful Bloodlord, so we have one of the other Sorin. So he also combos well with Sorin Imperious Bloodlord. Particularly he's +1, since he can just get back a creature from his -X. So usually you want to minus X or -2 Dust Legion Zealot. -2, you draw a card, then you plus from Sorin, sacrifice a vampire, deal 3 damage, you gain 3 life, then you minus again, then get it back, then sack again. Well, you can't minus all the time, you just have to plus sometimes. So you can keep minus, so every other turn. And then what else? Yeah, that's it. Well, we have a Temple of Silence from M20. They reprinted the Scryland, so we only have one. It's for mana fixing, but it comes in the battlefield tap, so it's not ideal for aggressive decks. You do not want your lands to enter tapped. Okay, that's it for the main. How about the sideboard? Alright, we have Remorseful Cleric for graveyard shenanigans, Tocatli for ETB effect guys, for explorers. So all of those explore cards, yeah, definitely explore cards. Wild Growth Walkers. There are a lot of ETB effects right now in the meta. I think the Simic has that. Frillwood Mythic, yeah, that's an ETB effect. When it enters, counter target spell, so it won't be able to counter any spell with the Catley around. And then there's a Blight Beetle, so this is very good against elemental decks since they have a lot of cards that put counters on their creatures. And it's also protected from green, so it will block any Stompy. And it also nerfs Hydroid Crazes. Hydroid Crazes will not be able to enter the battlefield with counters, so it will die as soon as it enters the battlefield since it can't have any counters due to the Blight Beetle. So we have also Legion's End, so it's a new removal. So it kind of reminds me of Babblight. It's 2 to cast as a target creature an opponent controls with converted mana cost 2 or less, and all other creatures that player controls with the same name as that creature. So it works very well against tokens since they usually have a swarm of the same token type. So those are all gone with Legion's End. And yeah, that does remind me of Blight, but it's better in one aspect since the opponent doesn't need to have the copies on the play. They might have a copy on the play and a couple of copies in their hand, and Legion's End will purge them all, will get them all, or even in the graveyard. So those will all be gone, but they just need to be 2 or less to cast, so that's the downside. Alright, Elder Spell for walkers, this Spark for control, for Nexus, Drill Bit, of course, for control once again, and combo decks. A Johnny for control, Leyline against Bird. Yeah, well, so here they put back the Leylines. This is very good against Burn decks. I guess it's more effective in the sideboard, especially with the London Mulligan. So sometimes you just want a Leyline against certain decks and they won't be able to do anything. So sometimes you multi Leyline, although you do take a risk. But that's part of the game. Okay, so that's it for the deck tech. Let's play some matches. So I think we'll be showing 3 matches. First one will be against Dreadhorde. Yeah, this is an updated version of Dreadhorde from M20. So let's see how the deck fared against a Dreadhorde.
one life to save many. This study is over. You have only won a battle. Drink only the spice, and you smell well aged. I guess you'll do. You should be proud to have come so far. We still need you. If you threaten Innistrad, I will take it personally. I guess you'll do. Deliver us to victory. my fight anyway. There's more work to do. In this land, we are all connected. Behold, Nexus true power. Defeating you will not bring me pleasure, nor pain. Thank you for your service. I will lend you my strength. Fight on without me.
Hey, wow. That's a great match. Alright, so let's talk about the match. Game 1, opponent had a massive board state. He had like 3 wild growth walkers, a crisis, and a bunch of goodies. I think the key was opponent having no answer for Haunt of Hightower. So he just played him normally with 6 mana, and he just kept getting bigger and bigger and kept accumulating more and more value with the discard attack trigger. So the key point there was when the opponent casted Tamiyo and returned Crisis to his hand. So he had a ton of lands and dorks on the field, so he would likely win had he been able to untap and cast that massive Crisis. So we couldn't make him discard the Crisis with the Haunt since he had Tamiyo's static ability. Luckily, we had Sorin. So we just used Sorin's Helix and destroyed that Tamiyo. Then force him to discard Crisis after attacking with the Haunt. And that was game. Okay, so game 2, I don't really want to talk about game 2. Mono White. Probably could have mulled to 5, but we were on the draw and we just needed to have a top deck of Swamp to have a decent chance in that game. And then game 3, our deck just transformed into a mid-range deck with Haunt of Hightower, Champion of the Dusk, and a tag team of Combo and Ajani. I think at one point we had two Champion of the Dusk in hand and a Haunt of Hightower. We couldn't cast them since we were stuck at 4 mana. So it was surprising that we were able to win that match. Right, so I think he did have Dreadhorde. He was able to cast it. So he got rid of our onto fight tower, but his life total was too low, and we were able to helix him with Sorin. Also, yeah, that Legion's End in the sideboard, doing well. Exiling those two White Growth Walkers early game was huge. And so that's it for the match. Unfortunately, we were just against a diamond player there, so next match, finally, we will be up against a mythic player. So next match, I think the deck is against one of the most hated decks of all time. I'm sorry, guys, but you have to watch this. So we're up against Infinite Turns Nexus. Alright, and here we go.
I understand you're in need of support. You are capable of more than you assume. See it yourself, what I see in you. Deliver us to victory. 12 damage. Still not enough to kill him. So swing one to our step. Kill it. Finally, all out of pressure snares. And draw 4. Crystal Brand. Alright, draw 4. Looks good. Since Sorin can go behind or go over the snare with his +1 Helix. Just direct damage him with Sorin. The storied past holds our future. Here we can get to see one of the combos in the deck. Sorin with the Oathsworn Vampire, because you can stack the Vampire and cast it again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 mana. Alright, we can see what we draw first. One side. Okay. And let's make an emblem. I brought some friends. Yeah, Sorin. Blood is my beginning, and it will be your end. Yes, that's it. What is one life to save many? I just need one return with Sorin. I doubt he has any ways to gain life. I think our advantage is just too massive right now. I noticed this somewhere. Looking for the root snare was needed. I tried to go for infinite wings. Together, we will prevail. drink only the finest, and you snow when aged. Yeah, I want to keep stacking vampires to get this deck. Gives you damage. Yeah, let's try that. Let's stack this. Thank you for your support. We have another story in our head. So next we can stack 2 vampires. We're going to swing first and stack 2 vampires. Alright, so I guess we have a root here. Oh, on the 5 tower. Alright, forget about the stack. Let's put this down first. Down the hunt. House Markov grows stronger. Wait for him to cast something so the hunt bigger. There's a root here. Alright, so it's going to surprise him with a second sorry neighbor. Probably should have just kept stacking, but just wanted to put down the hunt. It's a combo. Nice man, it's competitive. I think my Omnath deck didn't fare too well in the early access event. So you're doing something right with your deck. Just keep on adjusting, keep on tuning it. And I am positive you will get there. Keep shelter in my stewardship. Stop. Okay, so we can exile Nisa first. So we can't get the double land. And then we'll just spark the reclamation right after. And combat. And yeah, I think we got this. He's tapped out. We only have 1 land. And there we go. Another win. So what will be our rank? We are...
Well, hey, awesome game once again. So yeah, let's talk about the game. Game 1, I think he had infinite root snares. Root snares upon root snares upon more root snares, and he got them back with Tamiyo. So he had Wilderness Reclamation. Fortunately, we were prepared with a Mortify. Then top decking Sorin also meant we could just go around the root snare and helix him directly. So we just kept sacrificing our Vamps to damage him directly, and that was that. So game 2, I think we were able to draw our 2 sideboarded Death Sparks. So the key point there was when he had Nisa. Oh, he had the Wilderness Reclamation in play and casted Nisa. So he tapped out, and then in response to Nisa's +1, we just sparked Nisa. So he prevented him from getting the mana bonus from the Nisa static ability. And then right after, we exiled Wilderness Reclamation. So that meant he only had 1 mana he could use. And that was that. We just killed him. He just conceded. He exploded. Yeah, I think we also had Haunt of High Tower in play thanks to Sorin. So that netted us a ton of value. Alright, so next match. Actually, this is our last match. So you will get to see the 2 best decks duking it out. No, I'm just joking. It's Mirror Vamps. So we'll show you some good old-fashioned tribal wars with the Mirror Vamps mashup. So here we go.
Number 69. So Papa, Venus. Okay, we want to draw a Sorin for turn 3 Haunt of High Tower. Let's go Sorin. Let's go Sorin. Okay. Our turn to draw Sorin. No! We're getting flooded. Wow. So many lands. So many lands. Wow. True. More scrying into... Oh, okay, I think I have to keep this. And we'll just pass. to save many. Vengeance will come for you one day. And we're all out of cards. Even Steven. We do have light advantage and board advantage here. All we need to do is stack all of our creatures and swing for the win. We don't want to draw lands though. It's fine. Should have put down the land. Since we are exactly 6 mana, we're gonna buff twice. We're too eager to attack. Defeating you will not bring me pleasure, nor pain. Our face thirsts for life. Have the combo. Take that. Sing up Sorin. Sing up Sorin for dear life. My heart is too hollow to care. lone vampire stick alive since third one. Oh, whoa! You can see. What? I guess he was mana flooded and he went up 1 rank. That's weird. We can get a myth.
Wow, that match was awesome. Vampires versus vampires. That was crazy. So game one, we didn't get the turn 3 sword into Haunt that we were hoping for. Instead, we were rewarded with drawing a ton of lands. Just kept drawing lands. Then on the other side, Papa Guinness had a turn 3 sword to Champion of the Dusk. We tried to hold on for dear life, but the damage was just too much. Haunt got stuck in our hand the entire game. That was so sad. Okay, so but game 2, we bounced back. It was the revenge. So we had 2 Knights of the Ebon Legion with a Dust Legion Zealot and a Legion Lieutenant, which made for a very explosive start. Blocking became very awkward for him because we could just pump the Knight of the Ebon Legion anytime. And then in game 3, we had to mount a major comeback there since our opponent had a great start with landing to Lieutenant to Sorin. At one point, he had like 26 life and we were down to 7. But he ran out of gas in the end and we just kept building our board state. So eventually, we were able to hold on and win the match. That was amazing. Alright, so anyway, this deck is still a work in progress. Comments and suggestions are very much welcome. Think of adding in maybe Vona, maybe more Oathsworn Vamps for the Helix combo. Or we could just make it more aggressive. There are a ton of 1-drop vampires, I believe. So we could have, it could be like the mono white version. We could like 16 to 21 drops. Vampire, super hyper aggro vampires. But we'll see. We'll just keep adjusting, keep testing this out. So anyway, that's it. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and follow our pages as well for more random MTG arena content. So Ergo the Lowly Human signing off. Till next time. May the spark be with you.